Hey guys, Wet Movie 1 back here again for another Blu-ray DVD update video for you guys today. I also have two things I got in the mail today. One of them is a mystery package. I'm not exactly sure what's in here, but a follower of mine sent it to me and said, I think you might like this one. And this right here, I know exactly what it is. But stay tuned to the end of this video and I'll do a quick little unbubbling for these two here. So stay tuned for that. But guys, I have a whole bunch of movies here to talk to you guys about. DVDs, Blu-rays. It's been about 2 weeks since my last one. I got a big old stack of goodies here. My mom's gonna pop in a little bit later on with her guest reviews this week, so let's get started with it, shall we? Alright guys, and first up over here from Shout Factory / Scream Factory is the 20th anniversary of a film I've always really liked, and it's called Hackers, here on Blu-ray. This is of course a new anniversary edition with some new special features. If you guys have never seen this movie before, it's about this young kid named Dade, this 11-year-old kid. At the beginning of this movie, he crashes a whole bunch of different computer systems, including Wall Street, and he gets put under probation and told you can't use the internet, you can't use a computer until you're 18 years old. And then the movie flashes forward 7 years when he's turning 18, and what does he do? Goes straight on the internet doing his little hackety business. But yet he's in a new town now with his mother. He moved on over to New York and he starts making new friends in his new town, and of course his new friends that he has are mischievous hackers themselves. And of course something happens with one of the hackers in his group and they're being blamed for some big catastrophe that's happening, and it's them trying to prove their innocence, that they didn't hack this system and cause this problem with ships capsizing and making oil spill in the ocean and things, and it's them trying to prove their innocence. I've always really liked it. It's kind of dated now, after all these years since it came out in '95. When you watch the movie, you see like the old, like heavy chunky computers, and now they're like all thin ones and laptops and things. And like of course you get Angelina Jolie in here, a really young Angelina Jolie playing a hacker friend of his. I don't know, man. I've always really liked this, and I totally forgot that Penn from Penn and Teller is in this movie for just a little bit, but I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot he was in this thing. And but the picture quality on this Blu-ray was surprisingly really good. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when Shout Factory gets some stuff from MGM, like the transfer quality is kind of weird sometimes. Like with that movie Stigmata, wasn't really the greatest, but this one really stood out, really popped on Blu-ray. And on this Blu-ray here, you get about an hour of special features with interviews with some of the cast and crew members, director and things, talking about the history of hacking and computers and how hacking started when the computer, when computers first came out. But if you're a fan of hackers, definitely upgrade the Blu-ray. It looks fantastic. Get a nice array of special features on here for your fans out there. And next up over here from Shout Factory also is a cool little double pack film. I was really surprised that they put these ones out on Blu-ray, because I've been a fan of one of them for years, and that is Easy Money and Men at Work here on Blu-ray. The thing is, these movies don't really have any special features on them except for like the theatrical trailers. But if you guys have never seen Easy Money before, starring Rodney Dangerfield, it's pretty much about him playing this guy named Monty. He lives life rough, you know what I mean? Like, but yet he's a baby photographer. But when he's not working, he likes to drink, he likes to smoke, he likes to eat to excess, he likes to do all this crazy stuff. But yet when his mother-in-law passes away, in her will it says you have to stop drinking, you have to stop smoking, you have to stop gambling, you have to stop doing all this stuff, and you have to lose weight, or you and your family are not going to get all these millions of dollars. So it's him trying to figure out, oh god dang it, and him trying to go through what he has to go through to try to get the money for his family. It's a really funny movie. Also stars Joe Pesci, a young Joe Pesci in here. I've always been a fan of the film. Rodney Dangerfield has always been a really funny comedian that always stands out to me. I've always liked his work, especially like Ladybugs. And Men at Work here stars Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez, the brothers, and these guys are trash men, and like in Venice, California, living their life, taking out trash and doing their job. But yet they like to do their job a little funner. They like to have fun with their job. But until one day they're out there doing their job, throwing trash away, getting cans, throwing them in their truck and things, and they find a dead body in one of the trash cans. And it's them trying to figure out what the hell's going on and how they're going to get out of the situation that they're in when they find this dead body, because they don't know what to do. It's a really fun movie. It's a little bit of suspense, but mostly comedy. I always really like this film, and both these films surprisingly definitely look really good on Blu-ray. I was really happy with the quality on these. But that's Men at Work and Easy Money here on Blu-ray. Alright guys, and next up from Scream Factory also is another double feature pack here of Metamorphosis and Beyond Darkness here on Blu-ray. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Metamorphosis at the moment. It's about this one doctor who created a non-aging, serum. So if you inject somebody, you're never gonna age or die. And so he thinks he created, the fountain of youth. But yet all the other doctors and people that work in his industry are mocking him and making fun of him, and they're saying, this is never gonna work. We're never gonna let you test this on humans ever. And he's just like, I figured out the formula that's gonna help people live forever. And, people are just not having it, so he decides one day to inject himself with his own serum, and craziness ensues from there with, different skin problems, and he starts bleeding out of his hands, and, crazy things start to occur, but you have to watch the movie to find out what happens in there. And I'm not gonna lie guys, it was kind of slow, kind of, it kind of bored me a little bit. The premise was kind of cool, like the whole build up of it. Like, oh, this could be kind of, no, it was kind of just forgettable in my opinion. It has some kind of okay music in there. But Beyond Darkness is a little bit of a better film than Metamorphosis, but they're, still kind of forgettable. It's pretty much about a young family moving into a new suburban home, and they're moving in. The father of the house is a preacher at this local church, and the family really believes in God, and they move into this new house, and they start seeing things, doors opening and closing, weird sounds. The kids are like looking at the wall, little holes in the wall where it's lighting up, and the little girl's like talking to the wall, and like all these different little crazy things start happening. Come to find out, there's something really dark that happened on that land, years and years ago, that you have to watch the movie to find out what happened and what kind of spirits are lurking around their house. It's from the director of there's called Troll 2, so it's that kind of cheesy, that kind of bad. But like Beyond Darkness is the better of the two, but to me still both really forgettable, kind of horror movies. But I don't know, like the Beyond Darkness kind of sort of felt like I was watching like a mixture of Amityville Horror and Poltergeist a little bit, with the little kids talking to things. I don't know, it was just kind of really weird, kind of double feature here. But next up over here is a film I'd never seen before until I got the Blu-ray, and I kind of enjoyed it, and that is called Nomads. This one stars Lesley-Anne Down and Pierce Brosnan, and in this movie Lesley-Anne Down plays this doctor at this ER hospital or whatever in the ER. And she's just doing her thing one day, just working, doing her job, until this one guy gets wheeled in, to her, into her ER room, and he's kind of just like, all over the place. He's kind of bleeding. He's making all these weird sounds. He's not speaking English. No one's really understanding a word that he's saying, and it's Pierce Brosnan's character. And she's trying to help him out, trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with him, until Pierce Brosnan bites her. She's just like, I don't know what's going on. And she starts like seeing things like that are not there, and like she thinks she's seeing through the eyes of Pierce Brosnan now. What I mean? Like she's like sees what Pierce Brosnan has done in the past, and it's kind of like seeing what what kind of sort of led him to the hospital. But yet she's like, how is this happening? Like she can like see all that kind of stuff, and it was just kind of a cool little like inventive kind of film in my opinion. I kind of dug it, but then the last half of the movie I was just kind of like, oh, I'm done with it. You know what I mean? Like it didn't really end off with a bang or anything, but it did have a really cool premise, decent music in here. I believe the music in this one was composed by Bill Conti, the guy that did the Karate Kid movies. You're the best around, that guy, the guy that did the music for this movie also. And I really dug the vibe of the music in this one, more than the movie, to be honest. But that's Nomads here on Blu-ray. But next up over here from Scream Factory also is one of those IFC midnight movies, and it's called Ejecta here on Blu-ray. It's pretty much about this one guy years ago got abducted by aliens, and it was like now he's like kind of like an oddity, and people look at him and like, what, did that really even happen to you, sir, kind of thing. But but now he's being interrogated by the government, trying to figure, they're trying to ask him what the hell happened the other day, because days ago, some solar flares were going off in the sky and crazy things were happening, and some sort of big explosion happened, and the Secret Service people are kind of interrogating him, trying to figure out what the hell happened that night, because it happened around his property. And the movie cuts back from that night of the craziness that was happening until him being interrogated. I thought it was kind of cool, like a kind of cool little alien invasion kind of movie. I don't really watch a whole lot of movies like that, but this one was really kind of entertaining in my opinion. I really liked the main actor of this film. I forgot his name. Was it like Julian Richards, I believe, maybe? But like, he was just a really creepy looking guy, and just a guy that just looks like he's always had a hard time. You know what I mean? Ever since Aliens came and got him years ago. But that's Ejecta here on Blu-ray. If you guys like alien and abduction movies, give this one a watch. It was okay. One of those ones you were like Redbox or something, Alright guys, and next up from Virgil Films, the documentary film I was dying to see ever since I saw a trailer premiere on YouTube a couple of months back, and that is I Am Chris Farley here on Blu-ray. As you guys all know, I'm a big fan of Chris Farley, loved his movies, loved him on SNL for years, man. I was a big guy, he was a big guy, I really related to him and his humor because of that. And this is a documentary film that, showcases his life. And where he grew up in Michigan as a child, and how he, was in stage plays back in the day, and how he moved into Second City in New York, and how he went from there to SNL and then blew up to be a superstar movie star, and and then how he sadly got into drugs and things, and his sad demise. But like, this is a really well done documentary, especially if you're a fan of Chris Farley. You get to learn different things about him that you didn't know before, because you have family members here like his brothers and David Spade and Mike Myers and different people like Bob Saget that worked with him over the years, and they have like different stories that they can tell you of like behind the scenes stuff of Chris Farley that you've never seen, that you never known before. You know what I mean? Like back in the day on SNL, like Mike Myers would always take a shower at a certain time, every day after filming the show, and Chris Farley every single time would go back there butt ass naked and hug Mike Myers in the shower and just like make it feel all super awkward. Like really crazy cool little stories that you never knew about the man and things like that. It's a really heartfelt story. I really did dig it, just because I've been a fan of his forever and will be forever. And if you guys like Chris Farley, you guys want to know more about the man, check out this documentary. It's really wonderfully put together. Highly recommended it. Highly recommended it. What's wrong with me? Alright guys, and next up from Sony is the film I've been wanting to see because I love the director's work, and it's Cameron Crowe's new movie, and it's called Aloha here on Blu-ray. It stars Bradley Cooper, Emma Stone, Alec Baldwin, Bill Murray. In this movie, Bradley Cooper plays this ex-military guy who's going to Hawaii on sort of like a vacation kind of thing to like celebrate his career triumphs. Like, a lot of the stuff that he really triumphed in his life happened in Hawaii, and he's going there as a celebration and to try to reconnect with his old flame, who's now married with kids now, and he's there just to do what he has to do. And when he gets there, he befriends this young girl played by Emma Stone, who's like a badass fighter pilot or something like that. And it's just the back and forth between his old flame and the new girl that he may or may not like. There's not really a whole lot going on in this movie story-wise. It was really kind of boring. I was really kind of sad to say, because Cameron Crowe's movies are amazing. Jerry Maguire, great movie. Almost Famous, one of my all-time favorite movies ever. And I was really just kind of disappointed in it. Like, the scenery was amazing, where they shot it in Hawaii with the great oceans, the great, like the scenery of everything. The acting was fine, everything was good. Just the story structure was boring. It didn't feel like a movie that needed to be made, to be 100% honest with you. But that's Aloha here on Blu-ray. Alright guys, and next up from ABC Home Video is Grey's Anatomy, the complete 11th season here on DVD. Been a big fan of this show ever since the DVD started coming out years ago. And of course, season 11 here picks up right where season 10 left off. Christina Yang has left the hospital and went on to her own, to be her head of her own hospital somewhere else. And now Meredith Grey, the lead of the show, is kind of depressed about that and trying to figure out what she's going to do with herself now, since she just lost her best friend. And of course, there's all these other intermingling stories that have continued on, from season 10, like it was called Christina Yang, before she left, gave Karev her seat on the board of directors of the hospital, but yet, you know, Bailey, one of the other doctors in the hospital, thinks she's going to get the seat, you know, the next seat on the board of directors, and this then back and forth between the two. And of course, you know, Chief Weber, at the end of last season, thinks he might, you know, have a daughter that he never knew. You know what I mean? From a previous relationship that he has, and that girl may be at this hospital right now. He's not quite sure. There's all these little secret things that may be happening, and everyone's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And of course, all the other stuff that happens, you know, in the hospital from day to day. It's a really fun hospital show, man. I've always really liked it. You get all 24 pulse-pounding episodes of season 11 here in this pack, and of course, you get an extended the extended final episode here on DVD, which is kind of cool. So if you're a fan of the show, grab season 11. Now on DVD. Alright guys, and next up over here from Disney is Disney's short film collection here on Blu-ray. This is a Blu-ray that features 12 of Disney's original short films that have been recently made over the last like 10 years or so. Like ones like Frozen Forever, Feast, Get on a Horse. Like a handful of great ones. Like, what's the one that I really liked that was on here that I've seen on a previous Blu-ray before? I think it was called like Paperman. Yeah, Paperman. Where like it's like a black and white one where the guy like throws like a paper airplane and just kind of follows it. Great short on here. You guys all know Disney was known for their short films before they were known for their feature films back in the day. Like they always used to have like, you know, animated shorts that used to play before movies, you know, before the feature film actually started back in the day. They don't really do that much these days anymore. Like the Disney does sometimes, like with the Toy Story ones and a couple of other different shorts ahead of different movies in the theater. But like it's not like how it used to be back in the day. But it's kind of cool that they feature 12 of Disney's animated shorts of the last couple of years in here. Really great ones. There's one called John Henry that deals with slavery on here, which is a kind of a rough topic I would have thought Disney would have handled for themselves on here. But you also get a bonus feature on here talking to the creators of these short films and how, you know, the process is for them to get their idea onto the page and to have, you know, only 5 to 10 minutes to get this whole story out, you know what I mean, in a short period of time. Really great little Blu-ray here. If you're a fan of Disney short films, I really highly suggest picking this set up here. And next up over here from Anchor Bay is a film I've been dying to see, because it's Robin Williams' final performance in a film, and that is called Boulevard here on Blu-ray. In this movie, Robin Williams plays this guy who works at a bank. He's really in a committed relationship with his wife that he has been for over like 50 years or something like that. But yet he has this really dark secret, you know, about himself that, you know, in this movie he's kind of forced to, you know, to help that come out of him, you know what I mean? And that dark secret is, you have to watch the movie to find out. And it's just, you know, all the craziness that happens when he realizes something in himself and he wants to, you know, let his real true self out. You know, and that's all I can really say about the movie without ruining it for you. But he meets this young boy on the street and kind of befriends him and things, and different things happen. And it was a really bold performance by Robin Williams in here. He did a very fantastic job. It was a really well put together movie. I didn't really know what to expect, you know, going into it, because I was kind of depressed, just like knowing it was his last movie, the last thing I'm going to see, you know, Robin Williams in. I believe he might have done some voice work for like animated films before he passed away, but like this was just a really heartfelt, touching movie. Like I was kind of depressed watching it the whole time, knowing that, you know, this is his last one, and just the whole tone of the movie. I felt like crying the whole time. I didn't, but like, you know, like my stomach was in knots the whole time just watching it. It was kind of sad, and because in the movie he just has that sad look about him. You know what I mean? That, you know, like, I don't know. It was just really kind of depressing to watch, but a really great performance, a really good put together movie. I really highly recommend this one. Sad to say there's no special features on this Blu-ray whatsoever, but it's a great movie with great performances. And next up over here is a new horror film from Anchor Bay, and it's called The Curse of Downers Cove here on Blu-ray. It's like a new teenage kind of horror movie, you know, kind of thing, kind of like, you know, I Know What You Did Last Summer, kind of sort of vibe to it. It's about this small town in the middle of nowhere, small suburban town, and every year, you you know, something really bad happens. There's like this curse on this town for the last decade or so. Like every year, the week before graduation at this high school, a student dies. You know what I mean? It happens every year. And now it's the present day, and this one girl named Chrissy is obsessed about this curse, and so is the town, but she's more obsessed about it. She thinks this year may be hers. You know, she thinks she might be the one that's going to die. And of course, she's just trying to figure out, you know, what she can do to make sure that doesn't happen, to try to stay safe. But yet one night she goes out with one of her best friends to this party to hang out with friends and things, and something really, you know, really awkward and bad happens there, and it's just her night unfolds from there. Yeah, I thought it was kind of decent. It has Tom Arnold in there playing a father of one of the kids, and it started off really well. Like, you know what I mean? Then like halfway through the movie, I was kind of like, oh, that's it? You know what I mean? That's all you guys are going? That's all you're doing with this? It's one of those kind of things. It starts off really cool, has a good premise. The acting was cool. The cinematography was great, but it was just kind of like, oh, that's it? You know what I mean? It starts off cool, but that's all I can really say about this movie. But that's the Curse of Downers Grove here on Blu-ray. Alright guys, and next up from Anchor Bay also is a new film. Stars Luke Mitchell and Jason Ritter, and that is called 7 Minutes here on Blu-ray. It's about these group of friends in the middle of a small town, and kind of in the middle of nowhere kind of place. They're all having a really hard time. One of them just came out of jail. The other one is having a hard time supporting his girlfriend with a baby-to-be, you know, kind of thing. And they're trying to figure out any way they know how to make some money. So they decide to start selling drugs from this big drug dealer in town, until something happens and all the drugs that they got to sell, something happens to it and they don't have it anymore, and they owe all this money to this mobster, and now they're even deeper in debt, and they're trying to figure out what they got to do to get money to pay the gangster back and to support themselves. So they all decide to rob a bank. But you have to watch this movie to see how everything unfolds. I really like the way this movie was kind of put together. You know what I mean? Like, it has good acting in here, really kind of suspenseful moments. But like, I think it could have been executed just a little bit better, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, if you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's one of those movies that cuts from, you know, the robbery happening back to them planning the robbery, and then back and forth kind of thing. But that's 7 minutes here on Blu-ray. It looks nice on Blu-ray. Great performances. So if you guys like a decent heist movie, check this one out. Alright guys, and next up is a movie starring Samuel L. Jackson. This is his new flick called Big Game here on Blu-ray. This movie is about this little boy that lives in Finland. He's about 13 years old, and every 13-year-old boy in Finland, or at least in this part of Finland, has to embark on this journey to go into the middle of the woods for one whole night and bring back, you know, a carcass of an animal to their father, or, you know, to a person's father. And it's about this little boy that's going into the 13-year-old boy that's going into the woods to embark on his you know, manhood journey. But as he's there one night, a plane crashes into the woods where he's at, and the plane that crashes, Air Force One, and it's carrying the President of the United States, which is played by Samuel L. Jackson. And it's him and this little boy, you know, trying to stay alive in the middle of these woods, because there's these terrorists in the woods trying to take out the President himself. And I thought it was kind of a fun little movie. Not amazing, but I thought this one was kind of a fun little romp, to be honest. Take place in the whole wooded area. Kind of cool. But that's the Big Game here on Blu-ray. Not mind-blowing, but it was a fun watch.
Oh, hello. I just have two things for you today, and you know me and my episodic television. So the first one I have to share with you today is The Walking Dead 5th season. Oh my gosh. And it's on again. You wouldn't think a person like me or my age would like, you know, whatever, zombie type stuff, you know. But I do. I love it. And it seemed like it took a long time to have this one come out. It's just me, I guess, because I wait forever. Anyway, this just starts off, because I haven't seen the whole thing yet, but it starts off in Terminus, and that's not good. You know, they spend all last season trying to get to Terminus, remember? Oh, shit. It's one of those things, no, you probably shouldn't have tried to do it. It's really scary. But, I think that theme of it continues, because I don't want to say anything about what just happened in the opening, but I think Terminus, in its sense, will be with us for a while throughout this particular season. I'm thrilled. I can't wait to see the other episodes because, well, I don't want to say anything. But yes, they get out of Terminus, but who knows what's going to happen. Pick this one up. I can't wait to see the rest of it. Anyway, and the last one I have for you today, oh, I'm sorry. I really like it. The ensemble cast is terrific. I wouldn't miss one for anything. It's Two Broke Girls, season 4, I believe. Yes, season 4. And I love it. It's hysterical. The whole cast, you know, the ensemble, whatever, there's not a bad person in it. Everybody is so hysterical. Because, yeah, the girls still have their cupcake, you know, business and so forth. But they've gone on to something else with comedian Sarah Bernhardt. Pick it up. You'll love it. That's it from me.
Alright guys, and next up from Warner Brothers here is their new animated Justice League movie, and that is the Justice League Attack of the Legion of Doom here. And of course in this one the Justice League are the Lego characters, and you know they're just out there protecting Metropolis from the faces of evil and just doing what they do until evil Lex Luthor, the criminal mastermind, comes up with this, you know, scheme to put together his own league of people to try to take out the Justice League, but he calls his league the Legion of Doom, and it's pretty much him trying to take out the, you know, take out the Justice League any way he knows how, and that's pretty much the synopsis on this one. But I really kind of liked it. You know what I mean? It's not amazing or anything like that, but it's kind of a fun little fast-paced animated film. It's only about like 77 minutes long, and you get a special feature on here with the sound designer talking about the sound design of this little feature here. But if you guys are into these little ones, you guys might like this animated one. It was kind of a cool watch. Alright everyone, and next up over here is Mike and Molly, the complete 5th season here on DVD. Always like this sitcom. At least sitcoms of today like this one, Big Bang Theory, I always really like, especially the shows that are on today. And this one's just a really funny show. And this, of course, season 5 picks up right where season 4 left off, and you know, Molly is coming home from Iowa from her writing seminar, and now she has this big check in her hand, and she's, you know, all happy about it, and she's about, you know, because she just made a deal to write her first, you know, love novel or whatever, and she comes home, she's really excited about it, and she's as soon as she gets home, she sits down to try to start writing this book, but yet she comes up with writer's block. She doesn't know how to write a book. She doesn't know what she's doing. And of course, you know, Mike and the crew have to, you know, help her out along the way during this season to try to get this book made. The hilarity ensues from there. I don't know, like I said, I've always really liked this show. You get all 22 episodes of season 5 here on DVD, and the DVD also includes a gag reel, which I like when they do that for sitcoms. Like the Big Bang Theory ones are always like the ones I really like because they're super funny, and this gag reel was pretty decent too. Alright guys, and next up from the Warner Archive collection is Wrestling Ernest Hemingway here on DVD. This is a film I heard nothing but good things about and never seen until I got this DVD recently. It stars Robert Duvall, Richard Harris, and a very young Sandra Bullock in here. But this movie's about these two old guys. They live in Florida, living out their golden years. One of them's like an ex-sailor, and Robert Duvall's like a well-mannered, you know, kind of guy, until they meet each other, you know, in a park one day and strike up this unlikely relationship with one another, because one of them's like real outspoken and always drinking and kind of crazy, and the other one is just kind of like more subdued. And it's just, you know, the little friendship that they strike because, you know, they both don't really have much going on in their lives because they're in their golden years, just trying to, you know, live out their days, trying to figure out what to do from day to day. And then when they meet each other, it's just a, you know, an unlikely friendship that happens. And I really fell in love with this movie, man. Like, I don't know how to explain it any better, but it was just a lovely movie. You know what I mean? Like what old guys go through from day to day when there's really not much going on. Like, they don't have a job to go to. They don't have, you know, kids around them to worry about or anything like that. It was just a really lovely told story. It was really well acted here by Richard Harris. But if you guys have never seen it before, a very touching, nice, you know, comedy drama kind of movie that I think all of you guys might really enjoy. I really did love this movie. And next up over here from Lionsgate is a cool little drama film. It's called Where Hope Grows here on Blu-ray. It's about this one, ex-baseball player. He kind of was in the the major leagues for a little while until he got kind of like booted out of there. He has a daughter, and he's just, doesn't really have a great relationship with her because he's always out drinking and, doing, it's like kind of like just in his own little world is what I'm trying to say here. And so one day he goes to this grocery store and he sees this one kid in there that has Down syndrome that's working in the produce section. In the movie they call this kid Produce, and he strikes up this little relationship with this kid in the store, and it's just a lovely movie. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much a simple story, and it's just how this one kid that works at a grocery store changes his life for the good or bad. You have to watch the movie. I just found this movie to be really well acted and well told. I believe the kid named David Sudeikis, the kid that has Down syndrome in this movie, did a very fantastic job in here. I gotta give him applause for his work in this film. We also get Danica McKellar in here from the Wonder Years, and this kind of like a throwaway kind of part. I'm like, you have her name on here and everything. I'm just like, she's in the movie for like maybe 5 minutes altogether. But I was just kind of like, whatever. The chemistry between, the baseball player and the kid Produce that's in the film were just really good. I really fell in love with this movie. If you guys are into really good drama movies, give this one a look, man. Really great movie. How many times am I going to say really? But next up over here from Magnolia is another documentary film, and it's called Iris here on Blu-ray. This is a documentary about this 90-year-old woman named Iris who's been in the New York fashion scene for over like 70, 80 years, and it's just a documentary that just follows her life now and what she does to stay relevant in the fashion industry. Me, I don't really give a crap about fashion, or I don't know anything about the fashion industry or anything like that, but I do like well-told documentaries, and this one was kind of like a middle-of-the-road kind of documentary, but it kept my interest because this lady Iris has spunk. You know what I mean? Like old people that are in their 90s, they can say what they want, they can do what they want, they don't care what other people think, and that's what I like about her. And the director of this film, I believe, also directed Grey Gardens and Give Me Shelter, the old Rolling Stones documentary from back in the day. Like, it was kind of cool because the director of this film is like 80 years old, and he's making a documentary about a 90-year-old. You know what I mean? It's about, two old people making a documentary together. I know, I thought this one was really kind of decent. If you guys want to know more about like the fashion industry and how Iris kind of, changed it in New York now and even back then, check out this documentary, man. It was really kind of fun. And next up over here from Magnet is a cool new action film. I didn't, really know much about, but I wanted to see it because of Tony Jaa's in it, and it also stars Dolph Lundgren, and it's called Skin Trade here on Blu-ray. It's pretty much about, the sex trade, the skin trade, like people buying and selling people, for sex and just for other random things. And in this movie, Dolph Lundgren plays this LA cop who's trying to crack down on the skin trade and take out, this one bad guy that's, played by Ron Perlman that's, going around selling people for money, and until one day something happens and something happens to Dolph Lundgren's wife, and he has to go on revenge to take out Ron Perlman, the kingpin of all this sex trade stuff. And Ron Perlman runs away to like Thailand, and of course Tony Jaa's a cop there, and they kind of team up and try to take out Ron Perlman in the sex trade. It was kind of fun, you know what I mean? Not mind-blowing story. It wasn't like the best told story or anything like that, but you get Tony Jaa in there doing his martial arts stuff, kicking people's butts. You get Dolph Lundgren in there knocking people out, shooting people up. It was a kind of a fun little romp if you guys like, straight to DVD action flicks. I dug this one. Ron Perlman's kind of a badass in here. But that's Skin Trade here on Blue. Alright guys, last but not least here from Wild Eye Releasing is called Morbid here on DVD, and this movie pretty much takes place in a small Tennessee town. Right at the beginning of this movie, two movie nerds get killed, and the small town doesn't even really care. They know what happened, but they don't care because a big football game is about to happen and a big party is going to happen afterwards. So like the sheriff of the town doesn't really care, the kids of the town don't care that a masked murderer is going around, taking people out. They're just Vegas want to party. So a sheriff from out of town has to come in and try to solve the murders and try to catch the killer before he kills again. And of course, what does the killer do? He keeps taking people out in the small town until he gets caught, baby. But that's pretty much a synopsis on this one. If you guys like low budget, straight to DVD kind of horror flicks, you guys will probably dig this one. Like, it has the cheesy acting, the cheesy dialogue and all that kind of stuff. But what I gotta say about this movie, it had a strong opening in my opinion when it comes to the dialogue, because it opens up with two movie nerds arguing about different movie stuff, like who makes a better zombie movie, what's the better horror movie, like all that kind of movie nerd stuff. I love that. You know what I mean? But the gore, it was just, for the gore that I saw, was just kind of like, that's it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I was expecting a little bit more gore-wise, but like, if you guys like I said, Troll 2 and like, cheesy, like, straight-to-DVD 80s kind of movies, give this one a chance. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the best one I've ever seen, to be completely honest with you. But guys, that's all I have to show you guys today. Let's move on over to the other side of my room for the mystery unboxing to find out what came in the mail. Alright guys, on to the mystery unboxing portion of this video. I got two things in the mail here. One here is from a viewer of mine. He said he wanted to send me something, so I'm like, okay, because I've been talking to him online. He doesn't want his name, online or anything like that. So I have this one, and like I said, I know exactly what this one is, so I'll save this one for last. So let's crack into this and see what he sent me. Because he didn't tell me anything, you know what I mean? And oh shit! And this is the Blu-ray of Savage Streets, man. The old school Linda Blair movie, a rape revenge kind of movie. I have the DVD with like all these special features on it. I think it came out and went out of print like within like a week or something like that. And this one right here is put out by Code Red. I thought this one was out of print or something. I don't know how it got it. It's brand new and everything, man. This is dope. 5.1 created mix. It doesn't look like there's any special features on this one though. So I might have to keep my DVD version of this one. But thank you so much, man, for this mystery package here. This is killer. Hopefully it looks great on Blu-ray. I can't wait to see what it looks like in 1080p here. Thank you so much, man. Great stuff. But that's unbubble this part right here. You can tell it's not a movie or anything like that. So let's crack into this bad boy and find out what's in here. I know what it is. Come on, let's do it. Unbubble, double, bubble, 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 bubble. Come on. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Can anyone tell what this is? Whoop, whoop. Alright, I'm just gonna open this up for you guys here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, here we go. It's a new t-shirt for my little t-shirt collection I have going. As you guys all know, I have like all like movie related or TV show, graphic tees and stuff. And when I saw this online, I just had to get it, man. I got it in one size bigger than normal, just because I want to be comfortable. Perkis Power t-shirt, man. From the Heavyweights movie. Perkis Power! That's what I'm talking about, and it says right here on the back, I'm Perkisizing. You know what I mean? I had to get this since I'm doing the weight loss, and I always love the movie Heavyweights. Man, this is just a killer, like, kind of t-shirt you don't really see in the stores at all. Like, it was just an online thing, and I saw it, I'm like, I have to get it, man. I would have gotten like a Camp Hope t-shirt if they had one from Heavyweights, but I didn't see one anywhere. But man, this is cool. Like, I'm Perkisizing. It's kind of cool with like, Ben Stiller right here on the front with his face and everything. This would be kind of like a cool t-shirt to like work out in, if you know what I'm saying. But guys, that's all I have for you guys today for this mystery unboxing / Blu-ray DVD update video. If you guys like my videos, please share them around on Facebook and Twitter and social network sites. Give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Hoarders, unite!